Good evening, everyone. My name is Aaron Tuckfield. I'm the chairman of the Macomb Township Zoning Board of Appeals, and I'm calling this regularly scheduled meeting on April the 3rd at 6 p.m. to order. That is the first item on our agenda this evening. The second item is the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand with me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, and before we get started, I just wanted to mention on the record my apologies for the delay in starting. I was late getting here, and the reasons can be yesterday's excuses, but the roads were fun today. I'll just say that. All right, the third item on our agenda is the roll call. Mr. Secretary, could you please call the roll?
Mr. DeCoster.
Here.
Mr. Tuckfield.
Here.
Mr. Piper.
Here.
Mr. Mazzara.
Here.
And Mr. DeBrune is here. Everybody, all regular members present.
All right, thank you, sir. Item 4 is to address any conflicts of interest. We only have one item this evening, but if you have a conflict on this item, please respond to the roll call by saying yes. If you do not, please say by saying no, and then we will determine if there's anything further we have to do at that point. Go ahead, Mr.
Mazzara?
No.
Mr. Piper?
No.
I do not have any. Mr. DeCoster?
No.
Mr. Tuckfield?
No. All right, having stated no conflicts of interest, we will move on to the approval of the agenda. Is there any motions on this item?
I'll send motion to approve the agenda.
Motion by Mr. Mazzara. Is there support?
Support.
Supported by Mr. DeBrune. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed by saying nay. That motion passes and the agenda is adopted. Item 6 is the approval of the previous meeting minutes. I believe those will be the meeting minutes for the April meeting. Is there any discussion or motions on this item?
Make a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
Thank you, Mr. DeCoster. Motion by Mr. DeCoster. Is there support?
Support.
Supported by Mr. Mazzara. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed by saying nay. That item passes and those meeting minutes are adopted as read. Item 7 is old business, of which we have none. And item 8 is new business. Item 8A, this would be for permanent parcel 0806202006. This is a sign exception request for Jack's Car Wash, Macomb Park, Unit 6. Mr. Box, could you please take us through this?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Board. As you mentioned, this is for Jack's Car Wash at 26 Mile and Romeo Plank Road. They are seeking two separate sign exceptions. One on the west side of the building. They would like an exception up to 50 square feet when 4 square feet is allowed, and one on the south of the building face at 50 square feet also when 20.1 square feet is allowed. So again, I think you're obviously all aware a sign exception is slightly different than a variance. It does not require a practical difficulty. ZBA is to consider a different set of standards, which I'll go through in a second. And in the motion stating or granting or denying the exception, the ZBA shall state the specific grounds for the decision, and conditions may be attached as deemed reasonable. So those standards, we've been through these quite a few times now, but they are obstructions, visibility, site features, scale, aesthetics, minimal, and intent. There's a description there. Seeing that there's no audience members, I don't know that I need to go into too much detail, but we all know essentially what these pertain to, and I'll walk through those shortly as they pertain to this site in particular. So the other departments did look at this. The building department noted that the request does not create any building code issues. Engineering noted that in general the request does not pose any engineering related concerns. Fire had no objection and Public Works had no comments. From the planning perspective, regarding the site features, a conforming sign would not require removal or alteration of any site features. Visibility, conforming signs would still be visible as it does not appear that there are any obstructions in the way. Scale, a larger sign on the south face would increase visibility and allow for the south face to function as a secondary front, especially for the northbound traffic on Romeo Plank. An increase in square footage for a sign on the west face may increase visibility and may attract visitors from within the commercial plaza. Regarding minimal, the applicant could provide additional information as to why the increase to 50 square feet on either side would be the minimum that they need. And with regards to aesthetics, it's not anticipated that these exceptions would adversely affect the character or appearance of this area. And then lastly, the intent. So the intent of the sign and sign regulation ordinance is to allow visibility and allow a business to have, their signs seen by the public as they pass by, while minimizing harmful effects and protecting the public health. Increasing square footages would increase the visibility in that sense, and that's essentially the intent of the ordinance. But I do want to point out, as you see on the bottom there, so that is the back of, the picture on the left is the back of a building that sits in front of Home Depot and Target along Hall Road. And those are the types of signs that the sign code was written to have on the rear of buildings. A lot of these are more to get the attention of if there's a delivery driver or the workers to know which door to go into. And the picture on the right is that same exact building, but from across the parking lot. So it could be argued that maybe that they're too small to attract business from the parking lot. Looking at the picture on the right, personally, I think it's hard to see those signs from that far away. But again, is 50 square feet the appropriate amount? Is that the minimum that they would need? And I would also say, additionally, keep in mind that this building that I'm using as an example is a pretty generic building. Those businesses could come and go, whereas a car wash, it's pretty clear from a distance that that's a car wash. You may not know what the brand is, but it's pretty clear that it is a car wash. So that being said, staff does not necessarily object to either of the sign exceptions. However, the west-facing sign, we would ask the petitioner to provide additional explanation as to why it's needed at that scale.
All right, thank you, Mr. Box. Is there any questions for Mr. Box from the board? Seeing none, is the applicant in the audience? If yes, please come forward to the table. State your name and address for the record. Make sure my microphone is working here. And give any comments you might have.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Very good. My name is Haitham Sittu. I'm an engineer at Sittu Industries, and I'm representing Jack's Car Wash on this project. And thank you for having me here, by the way. And being the only one on the agenda, I kind of feel bad I dragged everybody here. But we appreciate it. Thank you very much. Pretty straightforward. There's nothing out of the ordinary here. Typically, some of the zoning meetings I go to are very elaborate or larger in size or deal with LED displays and so on and so forth. Looking at the west elevation, you're referring to this 50 square feet. In my honest opinion, as an engineer and manufacturer, even at 50, I think is too small, because when you look at the proportion, I always believe that the sign should not overpower the building, but at the same time, the building shouldn't dwarf the sign where it looks odd. But we went with 50 only because I believe that was a fair representation. I wish it could have been a little bit bigger because that wall is just so massive. They built that area so big, it looks like a little stamp there. On the south elevation, it seems to fit very nicely, very proportional to the building. They have those windows, decorative windows going on, so that fits really, really nicely there. And the west elevation, I wish it was probably another 5-6 inches taller, in my opinion. But if 50 is fine, if we can get away with that, that's fine as well. There's nothing that complicated. Oh, one other thing. I believe in the original sign application, we had on the east elevation, they have the logo, and there was also a monument sign. They opted not to put the monument sign in there, so that's a little bit less signage if anybody's concerned with having too much signage. They're not going to put the monument sign in there. I think it has to do something with the placement of it and possibly the plaza itself. I think it's a Kroger-owned plaza in that location. So that said, we're here to work with you guys, and it's your community, and we want to make sure we adhere to, you guys as much as possible. But then again, that's what we'd like to see. At a minimum of 50. If you feel willing to give us a little bit more, we'll take it. But I don't think it's that excessive to the look of the building. So with that, I'm open to any questions you might have. Please.
All right, very good. Thank you, sir. Any questions for the petitioner from the board?
Is this consistent with all the other locations?
The other locations have larger signs.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it's just based on the building and the size of the building?
Yeah, we try to. We try to make it look proportional so that it makes the building look a little nicer, rather than like, oh, maybe it's a car wash. I know, it looks like a car wash. Everybody knows a car wash, but Jack's has the branding, and they're expanding rapidly, and they're putting a beautiful. This place has an indoor vacuum system, which is remarkable. So they're trying to get their branding out there, and they're using this area here as their. They've been around for a while, but I think they're planting in this neighborhood because they feel like they have a future here. So they really wanted. That's why they could have just said, if I put whatever they allow, and that's fine. But they really want to make a statement at this location because they want to make it a nice go-to location. Probably help additional investment within the company.
Very good. Any other questions? Go ahead, Mr. DeCoster.
I have a quick question. I don't know if you can answer it, maybe Mr. Box can answer it. Can they put up a monument sign, or did they opt
They
not
can't put up monument sign. They opted. They prefer to have something better on the building itself, because the building looks so empty, kind of like void, kind of like just look too plain. And the smaller sign would have really not helped. And the monument sign is way on the other side, so they would really like the west and south elevation to get a little bit more exposure.
My one concern, and we talked about this a little bit the last meeting, is they can put up a monument sign. However, they're asking for an exception to put in the building. What happens next month if they want to put up a monument sign? Now we have both. So we're
willing to have you put it in paper that we will not,
Can we make a condition?
You can make conditions, yes.
That was my one issue with the south facing. It seems like if you can put the monument sign up, is there a need for this one?
Well, they can't, there is no place for a south-facing monument. The only place they were able to put the monument sign was on the east elevation.
Along Plank.
What's that road over there?
Romeo Plank? Romeo Plank. Or is it along 26 Mile?
It's along Romeo Plank.
Okay, so,
Over there they could, which is the east-facing, so it wouldn't, regardless, they can't put any.
but you'd see it for the northbound traffic on Romeo Plank, that would be your signage.
Possibly.
Okay.
I
That would be my
apologize.
one
I
concern
should have
with
done, yeah.
My concern with the west is I think similar to what Josh had indicated, it just seems, it's 4 square feet is the permitted maximum, and you're saying the smallest you're willing to go is 50?
I mean, I'd like it to be, on that particular site, I wish it was a little bigger. Just looking at the building, I mean, I don't know how they can get 4 square feet of signage on there. One letter would be almost 4 square feet, if you go sideways or
Yeah.
whatever. Even their logo, just taking their logo alone would end up with being probably close to 24 square feet, maybe, if we just put the logo. But then it would look so small, it just wouldn't be appealing. And one of the things, with signage, you want it to look appealing too. You want to make the building look nice, and we do quite a bit of franchise signage, and it's always about making it look nice, not just. Again, if they would have came back and said, "Hey, Hatham, give me 150 square feet," I'd be like, "You're out of your mind. It wouldn't look right. It was too big." Something proportional would be fair, So that's why the conversation is about 50 square feet seems to
All right, thank you.
be fine. Sure.
Any other questions? Hearing none, and without objection, I'm going to open up to the public. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak on this item? Looks like we have 2 people in the audience this evening. Seeing none, and without further objection, I'm going to close public comment and bring it back to the board. Mr. Box, I did just want to verify a couple of things, just because of my memory of wall signs. Do they have a sign on the north elevation, and that would be considered their front sign, or how?
The east elevation is their front, facing on Romeo Plank.
Okay.
And they do have a sign
They
there.
do have a sign there. Do you have a sign? Do you know if you have a sign on the north elevation?
No
or if anyone-
signage there whatsoever.
Why would you be looking at one on the south elevation but not the north elevation?
I believe it's facing the plaza, and
The north would be facing the gas station.
there's a gas station right there, so it wouldn't really.
You wouldn't be able to see it from southbound Romeo Plank at all. Okay. It would be pretty close there. Okay. And Mr. Box, these are all coming under side and rear sign sizes, that's why it's the 5 square feet.
Correct. Most businesses, there's not a large parking lot and a plaza behind them. That's why 4 square feet is the number that's their maximum.
Okay. And to echo Mr. DeCoster's comments, you would be willing to have a condition be that the size would be allowed if the monuments, as long as the monument side was built, and if the monument side was built, the size would revert to its standard or existing side. Your client is willing to do that, you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I had that conversation with the corporate office with Jax this morning. I go, we're not going to use the monument. Can I use that? Can I offer that as, as a token? Like, listen, you're not going to put them. I'd rather see these than the monument sign on your building because it's just so empty. So it's void, like an too plain.
Mr. Box, what approximate size do you think they would have for a monument sign in this? What would the square footage be? or do you
I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay.
The monument sign?
Yeah.
The monument sign was 60 inches by 96 inches, so 5 by 8, 48 square feet.
Okay.
That's what was approved, with a 72-inch overall height.
Okay. All right. I think that was all my questions. Any questions, comments, or motions from the board? And if we do have motions, I think they should probably be handled separately. The west elevation and the south elevation. Anyone?
I will make a motion to grant on the south portion the exception for parcel number 0806-0202-006. I think for the minimal signage, I think for that exception for the minimal signage, I think it would help promote the business, more visibility, especially with the, if we, I'd like to add to the fact that we would not have the monument sign. This would take the place of the visibility for the traffic going on northbound Romeo Plank Road.
So just to confirm,
So, yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
I would say that, so the condition would be they can put this in place of the monument sign. If they decide to put the monument sign, then they'd have to revert back to the, our normal ordinance.
All right, we might have discussion on that, but do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All right, second by Mr. DeCoster. So just clarification on the motion, Mr. Piper. So saying that you believe the sign meets the intent of the ordinance as far as visibility for the business,
Yes, I do.
and that this would be conditional on the monument sign not being on the property.
Correct.
Is that accurate, Mr. DeCoster? Are you
Correct.
good with that? Mr. Loy, are you comfortable with that for clarification? Yes. Okay. All right, is there any other discussion on the motion?
I have one question.
Good.
Can we attach the same condition if we were to make a motion for the other sign?
Yes, they can both have conditions.
Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion on the motion? Hearing none, Mr. DeBruin, please call the roll.
Mr. Tuckfield,
Yes.
Mr. Mazzara.
Yes.
I am a yes. Mr. DeCoster.
Yes.
And Mr. Piper.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, so that was with regards to the south elevation. Is there any motions with regards to the west elevation? I should ask, Mr. Piper, did you specify 50 square feet? Or did you specify the plans? I'm now thinking about
I did not
it.
specify the square footage. I specified the request for the
Okay.
variance, so.
What they're requesting is 50 square feet, so I think that's pretty clear what,
Okay, just as long as we're clear on that. Okay, sorry, go ahead. Anybody else have any motions?
We can make a motion to deny, obviously, right?
Yeah, we have the leeway to make a motion
Just give it a little-
to approve or deny, yes.
I'll just give it a little more time and see if anybody else.
I'm not thinking there's another motion, Mr. DeCosta.
Then I'm gonna make a motion to deny the variance exception with regards to permanent parcel 0826-202-006. And this is for the request to have a 50 square foot sign on the west elevation.
Is there support on the motion?
I'll support that motion.
Supported by Mr. Piper. Discussion on the motion, just brief clarification. Mr. Coster, I'm assuming you're referring to a sign exception, not a sign variance.
Sign exception, correct.
And then I believe we have to give reasoning for either a approval or a denial.
Well, with that being said, I do not see that it meets any of the qualifications regarding the site features, visibility, scale, minimal, aesthetics, or intent.
All right. Any other discussion on the motion? Hearing none, Mr. DeBruin, please call the roll.
Mr. Piper.
Yes.
I am a no. Mr. DeCoster.
Yes.
Mr. Tuckfield.
No.
Mr. Mazzara.
No.
Motion
All right, well,
fails.
then I guess we're gonna have to go for another motion. Anybody else want to make a motion?
I will make the motion then to approve this sign exception based on visibility and scaling and aesthetics, with the condition that the monument sign not be installed. And should a sign be installed in the future, that the qualification of the sign size on the west elevation revert back to the original 4 feet.
Motion by Mr. DeBruin, is there support?
I'll support it.
Supported by Mr. Mazzara, is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, Mr. DeBruin, please call the roll.
Mr. Tuckfield.
Yes.
Mr. DeCoster.
No.
Mr. DeBruin's a yes. Mr. Piper.
No.
And Mr. Mazzara.
Yes.
Motion passes 3-2.
Motion passed. We haven't done that in a while. All right, thank you very much for coming in. Good luck.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. And your city looks amazing, by the way.
We
Just wanna
appreciate
say
it.
looks fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, that moves us on to item 9, which is member or public comments. Anybody from the public wish to speak this evening? Doesn't look like anybody's getting up, so we're going to move on to item 10, ZBA member comments. Any comments this evening? Hearing, yes, Mr. Piper?
I said it's a quiet night.
It is a quiet night. We would have been actually done inside 25 minutes if I'd been here on time. Planning director comments. Mr. Box, anything for you this evening?
Nothing this evening.
All right. Mr. Loya, anything for you? All right. Moves us on to item 13, which is adjournment. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Mr. Mazzara. I'll support it. Supported by Mr. DeBruin. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed by saying nay. At 6:58, we stand adjourned.